now, Pujya Atman Sri Swami Jyotirmayananda commences tonight's Satsang with a Sanskrit peace chant.
Om Purnamadaha Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. We begin with mystic song by Sri Swami Lalitananda, played and sung by Sri Swami Umananda and Rajneesh.
Our song tonight is called The Spirit of Love.
Pass away, death sweeps like drifting snow over one and all, but the spirit of love lives on and on. The spirit of love is like the sun shining on all below. The spirit of love sleeps in every heart. The value of life starts flowing with the song of humility. When feeling is pure and all has gone, you know and realize life cannot be without the spirit of love. The spirit of love is like the sun shining on all below. The spirit of love sleeps in every heart. Let the river flow to the sea and enter deep, deep within, feeling like a wave of the endless sea. The spirit of love is like the sun shining on all below. The spirit of love sleeps in every heart.
We are recording from the ashram of our revered Guru, Pujya Atman Sri Swami Jyotirmayananda in Miami, Florida. Today is August the 1st, 2018, Wednesday evening, and tonight Swamiji will be lecturing on the Yoga Vasistha. This is series 2018, class number 61. And now Pujya Atman Sri Swami Jyotirmayananda.
Om Brahmanandam Param Sukhadam Kevalam Jnanamurtim Dvandvatitam Gagan Sadrisham Tattvamasya Lakshyam Ekam Nityam Vimalamachalam Sarvadhi Sakshi Bhutam bhavatitam triguణarahitam sadgurum tam namami. Om. Adorations to Sadguru, who is Brahman, the giver of supreme bliss, embodiment of pure consciousness, one without a second, vast as the ether, infinite, eternal, beyond the three gunas and their modifications, the supreme preceptor. Yoga Vasistha, in Utpatti Prakarana, section 65. This is hammering stage. Gada Parinyaya. The shifting dreams of a dreamer are illusory. The dreamer himself, not as the dream subject, the subject who is lying on the bed, he is the one behind all the illusion of his dream. We go through all the dream and go through all types of experience, horrible type or haribol type. Haribol, it's terrible. Haribol, it's what I think. Saying Hari, Hari, Hari. And you gather lots of things of that world. There's sky, there's earth, there are all types of things. The past, present, future. And if you sit down there to receive news, also there are news breaking. Every moment. But when you wake up, whom will you blame for all the world? Or whom do you attribute to the basis of the entire dream world? You, your own personality. If this is well understood, you have to allow your vision to go into a higher level. Just like you show moon to a child in a container with little water, and the moon reflects in it. The child gains some little touch of the moon. Spiritual teaching is similar. You are showing the whole world experience just in your bedroom. All the Vedanta is the moon, showing you a little bucket right there. And this point has to be well assimilated. You need to go through a whole process of integral yoga in daily life and be highly enriched by satsanga. As you become increasingly spiritually enriched, then you can begin to handle the understanding that all this world you are experiencing is a play of mind. This world is neither existent nor non-existent. It is neither created nor dissolved. It is an expression of the illusory chitta, mind stuff. It's false. Now, to follow it, understanding. In your dream, you are facing a challenging situation. You are on the high roof, and the roof is cracking. Now, how will you describe that? Does it exist? No, from an advanced point of view, it doesn't. But does it not? Is it non-existent? How can you say that? You are trembling and you are shocked. So you cannot bring it to any category, existent or non-existent. That's called the definition of Maya, anirvachaniya, indescribable. If you wake up, then it is non-existent. If you are in dream, it is existent. This nameless, limitless Brahman becomes, as it were, slightly inclined to objectivity. It's always allegorical description. Let me explain that point. Slightly inclined to objectivity. How will you figure that out? You're watching a cinema show, old style type or even new style. In the beginning, all you see is the screen. The show has not started. Then suddenly show starts. What happens? You switch your attention from the screen to the magic of projections. It's a slight switch. The reality didn't go away. Screen has not gone away. But now you are not interested in the screen. But what the screen supports, all the illusions, projections are supported by the screen. Not a moment of that illusion is without the screen. So you are suffering from misery. Behind the misery, there is same self. If you are enjoying wonderful situation, the screen, your pure awareness at the deepest level remains the same. And go on thinking of all your experiences. There isn't a moment when you are disconnected from Brahman. And there is nothing in the world which is not essentially Brahman. People studying science, they easily handle the point that all things are atoms and all are electrons. But nevertheless, this is my key and this is my house. Your practical reality doesn't change. So all this is Brahman. But until you attain enlightenment, the practical reality remains your practical reality. Your body is body, your house is your house, your job is your job, and all these are your realities. But mind has to understand that while all this you are facing as your reality, Not for a moment are you separated from the absolute self. That point has to go deeper. And that requires 3 stages. Deha buddhya tu dasoham. Handle all things of the world with the feeling that you are an instrument in divine hand. Don't give all the credit to your ego. The ego swells up, then you wouldn't know what to do with your head. And you carry a lot of unnecessary burden led by your ego. So learn the art that God is handling all the problems of the world. You are not the one to handle it. So just focus on your practical reality. And even while focusing on that, understand that really it is God who is allowing all your energies to flow. Not a single aspect of your personality is yours. And you as you don't exist that way. But you exist as thou. As Tat, as absolute self. So that's what is the meaning of slightly inclined to objectivity. This is described allegorically. Brahman alone was, but suddenly he willed to have the word, willed, may I be many. That's an allegorical way. Screen alone was, but suddenly it will, may I become many. Another simple illustration. When you place a mirror before your face, what are you first seeing? First attention was, where is my mirror? You found it. But now, you are switching your attention from the mirror to what is reflected in it. It's a slight objectivity. Switched from the mirror reality to illusions. And that mind doesn't have that subtlety to understand that what you are seeing is taintless, perfect, absolutely neither positive nor negative. But start looking your face into it. Now, something wrong with my eyes, something wrong with my ears. and the placidity of the mirror moves away from it. Just like this occurs so simple, in a simple way. In the same way, from an advanced point of view, the whole world experience manifests in your consciousness in a very simple way. Nobody creates it. Nobody dug into your mirror, create all those things. It all manifested at once. From chitta, chitta is the mind that is conditioned, there arises the notion of individuality, that I am an individual person. This idea, I am this person, where does it come from? From your mind. Go to sleep, and the mind has spilled this out. In other words, I'm joking. Your idea of me, mine, etc., all vanishes. You go beyond your ego. That also happens is something so profound, but human mind cannot handle it. So you simply consider it's an ordinary matter, go to sleep. But where do you leap into sleep? Go beyond the world of time, space and causation. And in no way do you miss the world. Because what you are experiencing is far, it excels all the world that can give to you. And you get it right within in your bed, within a moment. If this is properly understood, then you can understand that even while you are handling various things, your enlightened mind can switch your attention from all this to Brahman. And that also is, I'm speaking allegorically, you don't have to switch the attention. You are all attention. You are all consciousness. The objects of the world towards which the individual soul develops the attitudes of attachment and mindness. All this arises from the same chitta. That means me and mine, the notion, this is me, these objects are mine. What's the basis behind it? Your mind, chitta, the mind stuff. When we talk of chitta, we are talking of four aspects altogether. Your unconscious, called chitta, your intellect, called buddhi, your ego, called ahamkar, your conscious mind, that's called manas. All together we call chitta. And when chitta becomes free of illusions, then it becomes chit. Chit means pure consciousness. All the trouble comes because that T becomes double T. Chit, just single T. Chit, double T. All the trouble comes by that duality. One single T is truth. Double T, you are deluding the truth. There is no difference between the absolute self and the individual soul. To ordinary mind, this sun up there and the reflected sun in a jar. It's a big difference. The reflected sun is constantly shaking. You put from one jar to another, it goes into another jar. But all that is erroneous experience, because reflected sun has no reality behind it. It is just reflection. It is not impacting upon the sun. No matter how you do with the reflection, all that has nothing, it doesn't touch. The sun doesn't hold in his big office all the record of all the reflections and the news, what happened to those wonderful reflections. The sun doesn't want there's no need for the sun to do that. Sun is the reality. Jiva in you is the same sun. So therefore, lift yourself to understand your own glory. That happens through satsanga, but not through the world that is constantly pouring down all horrible news. News about yourself. When they love you so much, they say, why are you feeling so miserable? I'm joking. Everything depends upon what others are saying. You are not yourself. Not to let your mind be deluded by what others are saying, as well as what your ego is saying. And be careful that in a world where all these things are natural, so many things that impact your mind, they are just normal. Just like clouds continue to exist in the sky. But the sky is the same. That the sky-like purity of consciousness is your reality. So, allow your ego to listen to that whisper. Don't be miserable, oh little ego. You are that which contains the entire universe. You are light of lights, absolute consciousness. So don't let your mind linger with negativity, with a sense of humiliation, with a sense of fear, agony. And I can go on telling many more things, but that's but also understand that what I'm saying is easily said. Life is extremely challenging life. You are dreaming, someone can say, oh, it's just a dream. But while you are dreaming, it is not only just a dream. So mind has to have all that, moral behind all that is have immense patience to support the positivity of your mind. Wait and watch. Do not slip into despair. There is no difference between the absolute self and the individual soul. There is no difference between the individual soul and the chitta, the mind stuff. There is no difference between the soul, the body, and karmas. All that we have to figure that out. They all come from the same source. Brahman through Prakriti goes into the three stages. Sattva predominating, Brahman is working as Brahma the creator, Vishnu the sustainer, Shiva the destroyer. Now same Brahman through Rajas predominating, countless souls, they are being guided by those Brahma, Vishnu, Shiva. And then Tamas predominating, giving all things needed for the soul for its evolution. The world that has evolved out of 5 essential elements, tanmatras. So therefore, all this is Brahman. So when you are touching a pen, it is Brahman. Looking at your nails, it is Brahman. Teeth, you're Brahman. Thinking of the world, fascinating places, they are all Brahman. Thinking of ages past in history, that's all Brahman. Time, space, causation. The human body is the result of karma. Karma is nothing but a mental, a vibratory state of mind. Chitta spanda. Chitta, mind stuff, entering into a process of creating projections. All your experiences are led by your mind. And mind works in the form of projection, just like projections are frame after frame projected on the screen. Mind flows, thought wave after thought wave. Each thought wave in the mind is like a little whirlpool starts. Vritti is not exactly a wave. It is a kind of a whirlpool. For easier understanding, the modern world makes it simple. When you are dealing with your iPhones, computers, many things appear before you just by the touch of your finger. Your fingers are the vrittis. One little vritti and it has caused the whole past has suddenly opened up before you. Another touch, all that has gone. Something else has come up. So this is the play of vrittis. And vrittis are chitta in motion. If you could stop the motion, if you stop motion in the wind, then it becomes gentle air. Air was everywhere. But the wind is flowing from place to place. Brahman is everywhere. But chitta causes a specialized role of movement, time, space, consciousness. The mind is nothing but the ego self. Again, in order to resolve the problem of your mind, you don't go after all the details, but go after the ego. Who am I? The moment I becomes your focus, the whole mind says, wow. The ego self is nothing but the divine self. The reality behind your I am. The real I am, as you look for it, who am I? That I am is not the body, not the senses, not the pranas, not even your ego. That I am is the absolute Sat-Chit Ananda. That again we are describing allegorically. Because we have to use words, and one word is never sufficient to bring all about Brahman. So it describes Sat is absolute existence, Chit absolute consciousness, Ananda absolute bliss. All this is the self that is supremely auspicious, all pervading and eternal. Satyam, Shivam, Sundaram, the absolute reality is full, perfect. And this ends volume 1 of our publication, and we are entering to volume 2. Fortunately, I got the book. Section 66. The mystic art of destroying the mind. The term destruction is allegorical. It's just like saying the method of destroying a mirage. We're not destroying anything. Swami Vasistha continued, O Rama, from one lamp, numerous lamps are kindled. In the same way, from one absolute, numerous souls come into existence. The multiplicity of souls is due to illusion alone. Simple way to understand. It's just like from one sun, countless reflected suns arise. Countless illuminations arise. But though through your mind you may be fascinated by counting all these and stay with them, but the reality always, sun is the reality behind all that. To have a little more maturer understanding, you deal with the space in 3 stages: Bhutakash, Chittakash, Chidakash. Physical space, all your movements of the body and objects of the world, your house, tables, chairs, money, etc., politics, etc., all is in this physical space. But are you confined to the physical space? You may have a spacious palace, of wonderful sights. What I'm leading you to understand, that in spite of all that spaciousness, within yourself you may find an experience of being choked, as if you have no space. Not even breeze is coming. You may be confined to a little room or a little cave An experience, you are soaring in the vastness of unending expansion. Other way around, you can be facing unending expansion before you. And you are inwardly, you are feeling as if you are being choked. Put it in a very simple way. Practical objects of the world, they are in the world of time, space, physical space. But your thoughts, your emotions, your feelings, they move, not in physical space. They are in a psychic space. And psychic space far greater than the physical. You can't make any mathematical relationship. Similarly, from psychic space to pure consciousness, which is the absolute space. And that absolute space alone exists. If you go through this type of understanding, that is I am that, absolute, then there is no room for grief. Jiva is nothing but chitta, mind stuff. The moment the mind is transcended, the world dissolves. There is no need to cover the world with leather. Just follow the parable. The young man who was to inherit the kingdom, the heir apparent to the throne, suddenly became very excited about his kingdom. And a wonderful idea came to his mind that no king has ever thought of covering the earth with leather, soft leather. And his ego, pig-headed mind, thought it was the greatest idea of doing good to so many people who have to go on always walking on the harsh earth with a lot of dust, etc. But all are protected if you have just a blanket all over the world. Of course, I'm joking behind. And when he presents his view to his father, and then there are wise ministers around, and they ultimately persuades him, you don't have to do all that. Just put a leather shoe in your feet. Put your feet in the shoe. Cover your feet, and that's it. The whole world is covered, no matter where you go. Now, what's the teaching behind it? We don't develop such a wonderful heart to free everybody of their sorrows. Cover your own heart. Gain that knowledge that allows you to discover who am I. And then, wherever you go, you are enfolded by God. You are with that revelation, I am that. And the whole world will feel the same way wherever you go. That's again allegorical. You don't have to go anywhere. In other words, the moment a yogi attains intuitive vision, he beholds Brahman everywhere. So in order to resolve the problems of the world, don't go after the world. Resolve the problem in your heart. Who am I? Attain enlightenment. Put on the shoes, leather shoes, the shoes of Satchidananda. Due to the wanderings of the chitta, wanderings means vikshepa, one experiences shad vikaras. Vikaras means you experience all the changes that occur in you. Asti, one is born, called Asti. After birth, at that stage you don't know who you are. There's no name. Then comes the naming stage. The first one called Jayate. You are born. Then you become Asti, a name is given to you. And then you begin to grow. Childhood days. Boyhood, adulthood, whatever. And then you come to youth stage. A change occurs. Then aging stage, and then you know what it is. All these called vikaras, bhava vikaras. These modifications that everyone has to go through. And these bhavikaras are not enough. After death, you go through heaven or hell, unless you have attained enlightenment. And then you continue to incarnate, unending series of birth and death. And all these continue to happen because of the wild dance of your chitta. The Ravana's Tandava dance. Ignorance is dancing through your own mind, chitta. Just as objects of the world seem to be dancing and the trees seem to be swaying before a person who is intoxicated with liquor. Simple illustrations are being given. Drink liquor. Sufficient to be intoxicated. Then what do you see? Your house is shaking. This little earthquake is happening. Everything begins to shake. On that basis, the Sanskrit uses the term Daruna Drishti. Your daru term is drink. And when you are drunk, your vision brings lots of troubles. A vision that is bringing you trouble after trouble, that type of vision is the description of soul in the state of ignorance. From very childhood, Daruna Drishti is after you. Always you are dependent on the world, how things are. Dependent on your own body. And they're dependent upon so many things. And think this is the whole world, and you are completely helpless. But at the same time, ego plays a role. Another angle, I am the best. Nobody was ever born. What have I done? Look. So, that's called Daruna Drishti. All vision that is based upon the illusion of me and mine, that type of vision is source of all big troubles, horrible troubles you can't imagine. This experience of the world process is due to the intoxication of ignorance. Ignorance is the big drink. Now, what's the cure? Impress your mind with the fact there is nothing in the world other than pure consciousness. Soham hamsa, paramahamsa. I am that. I am Satchidananda. Shuddhosi, buddhosi, niranjanosi. The Madarasa played, gave the cradle song. You are pure. You are enlightened. You are void of all illusions of the world. And that type of whisper, divine whisper, must enter the heart from the very babyhood. Then you are blessed with profound samskaras. Turning on the spiritual path will not be a terrible process. It will be easy, sahaj, spontaneous. So, this is called ahamgraha upasana. When you meditate on an object, keeping yourself separate from the object, then that's a different type of upasana. That's general meditation people do. Vedantic meditation, whoever is your object of meditation, your deity, remember, don't adopt it suddenly, but try to understand. You are meditating on Lord Shiva. Allow your mind to develop the idea that Shiva alone is. Shivoham. And allow your ego to dissolve in that profound revelation. All that you can do only through your own imagination. It's called bhavana. And your bhavana becomes more and more purified as you advance. But no matter how defective your bhavana, it's a part of your spiritual sadhana. So that's called ahamgraha upasana. Just to give you an idea, another. A guru gave teachings of ahamgraha upasana to his aspirants. And in the beginning stage, Ahamgraha Upasana, choose any object you want to meditate upon with this idea, I am that object. Meditating upon a tree, now develop the idea, I am the tree. Imagine how does the tree feel with all the leaves and birds come upon it and sing on it. I am. I am the tree. I am the elements. This is a part of Vedantic meditation. I am air. I am water. I am fire. Now, coming back to the story, one student, also he said, the Guru said, meditate on anything that you love most. That will make the job easy. He was a farmer and he loved his buffalo very much. He went into the cave for the practice of serious sadhana. And as he started meditating, that I am the buffalo. It became so impressed in his mind that now there was time for going to the food time in the ashram. He can't get out because the cave, the passage was small, and he views himself as a buffalo, big buffalo. So he stayed locked up. This was reported to the teacher comes and then asks, oh disciple, what's the problem? He says, I practice this meditation as you described. I can't get out because I'm not a buffalo. Guru told him, now do another Ahamgraha. That you are not a buffalo, you are a human being. So gradually he got out of that Ahamgraha. So that's the way you are introduced to it. The climax, the goal behind Ahamgraha Upasana, Aham Brahmasmi, I am Brahman. When you get that upasana, I am Brahman, then you have no restriction, can go anywhere. Joking. But that's the profound objective, profound purpose of Vedantic study. And that's called Brahmakara Vritti. The mind has no other object to go after. All objects are Brahman. Every soul is Brahman. And the world is nothing but illusory modification of that absolute self. When this identity is discovered, the question of relationship between the soul and God, that question doesn't arise. Pressured by the sankalpas, egoistic desires and thoughts of the past, an individual soul continues to pass through numerous embodiments. It continues to experience birth, death, and varied conditions of life from one birth to another. This is all describing all that karmic process. They are the magic play of thought waves of your mind. Just as wind is nothing but air in motion, so the jiva is nothing but consciousness mingled with the illusion of vibration. Just to put it in a simple way to understand, when you're watching a cinema show, the show is nothing but screen plus projected illusion. Projected illusion will continue as long as you are gripped by the thought waves of your mind. But when you become gripped by attaining that state where the mind itself is moved away, then that's called the highest movement, paravairagya, supreme dispassion. Again, I will bring to you those two terminologies, bhava pratyaya and pratyaya bhava. As long as you are interested in the world of projections, that means the world which is based on projection, where projection exists. From projection exists to the world where projection doesn't exist. Cut down projection. Everything that you want in the world is based on the existence of projection. All that you watch in the cinema show is what is happening through projected illusion. But you get rid of the entire show when that projection process and the machinery that brings all the projection stops. So how to stop the machinery that projects? If your interest goes after it, that's called pratyaya bhava. And that's liberation. As long as you're interested in the world of thought waves, that's called sakamya movement, pravritti movement. Your soul will go on having all possibilities, most wonderful attainment as well as most pitiable situation, all will be possible. But whatever is possible through the vrittis of your mind is basically an illusion. Nothing can be sustained. Therefore, allowing the subtle insight into how to efface, terminate the mental process. That's called manonash. It comes in 3 stages. Manonash, literal meaning destruction of the mind. Vasana akshaya, destruction of the subconscious or unconscious. Tattva gyan, the absolute, the fire of knowledge that destroys all illusions. Manonash, Vasana akshaya, Tattva gyan. There are 3 great terminologies. Manonash implies your giving attention to promoting serenity of mind. No matter how things are, watch your mind, not to go too much negative, not too much positive. Hold it. That's the art of bringing about manonash. As you are developing that, you are also generating a change in your subtle impressions that operate through your subconscious. subtle impressions become impressions of strength, of divine optimism. And so if you were to bring in those impressions your practice of aham brahmasmi, I am Brahman, and your aham graha upasana, then then it's called vasana akshaya. The vasanas of your mind are not going to sustain, they are not going to keep your soul in a state of ignorance, in an unenlightened state. Rather, those vasanas now, as they become purified, will deck your personality with Daivi Sampats. All divine qualities will begin to develop. And finally, Tattva Gyan, the constant notion of illusory I am, that I am moves away. You have your ego, but you don't become egotistic. You can have a stick to walk with, but don't become confused, which is me, the stick. Don't stick to the stick. And with this I will conclude. Om Trayambakam Yajamahe Sugandhim Pushtivardanam Urvarukum Bandhanan Mrityor Mukshiyamamritat. Om Sarve Bhavantu Sukhina Sarve Santu Niramaya Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu Ma Kashchid Dukha Bhag Bhavet. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Namah Shivaya. Shri Ramaya Namah.
If anyone has questions for Swamiji, please raise your hand.
Gurudev. Gurudev, in your book on mysticism of Bhagavatam, there's a description of Dehadhyas. Can you explain that a bit more, the genesis and how to...
Dehadhyas. Dehadhyas simply means identity, body identity. Body identity, constant, that for the whole majority of people, when they think of me, it means the body. By body means not only physical body, your mind, your ego, body-mind complex. And that's me, and beyond that you don't have any other idea. And when you are told that you are more than this, you find yourself as if you are gripped by arm in a bucket. How can I get out of it? Simple way to understand without going into too many details is a mind that has developed an intense concept that I am the body. That's called Dehadhyas. And Dehadhyas is to be gradually dissolved by your integral yoga practice in daily life. Which means, as you go on practicing yoga, you will realize your body is under your control. You are not the body. The more you render your body in a healthy state, you are in a better position to view yourself, not the body. Keep your body unhealthy, then you are always keeping your hand over your head. So, one aspect of the adhyas, promoting health. But come to health in another level. Your mind is not healthy, you are not really healthy. Just like when body is healthy, you can get out of your body, body doesn't restrict you. Similarly, if mind is healthy, you get out of your mind. And mind doesn't restrict you. If you become deeply fulfilled, you get out of your ego. So that way you can understand how the adhyas moves away and you discover who am I.
Gurudev, Ahangraha Upasana, you talked about meditating on an object. But Brahmasmi, wouldn't that be meditating on the subject?
Brahmasmi is the actual goal behind Ahangraha Upasana. But since people are not ready, see there is a kindergarten movement, first meditate on something and try to feel I am that. You are training to develop a different way of looking at your I am. Come to a higher level, that's the real teaching is not to stay in that level, but having understood the whole world is nothing but Brahman. Now allow that mind to promote not the constant habit, I am the body, I am the mind. Instead, I am Brahman, but with proper understanding, not just verbal. And that's what in order to do that, you allow yourself to enter into stillness, as still as sleep, parallel to sleep. And all that becomes possible if you are practicing sadhana. In that stillness, your view of this is me moves away. I am that. The absolute I am, that becomes your reality. The little I am is a reflected sun in a jar of water. Water is mind. The I am is the sun, allegorically speaking. And that's the highest form of practicing religion. All religions have handled that point, I am that. Moses was after it. Okay.
Just a quick reminder, on Sunday, August 12th at 5 p.m., we'll be celebrating Krishna Janmashtami, coming very soon. And now it's Wednesday, so you get to sing along and savor the music of our Wednesday night kirtan band. So as you come.